What's up? Welcome to the Storytime Podcast. I'm Tim Green.
I'm Adam.
And this is where we are going through my first novel I ever wrote, Angelic Wars. Legend of the Godchild. Angelic Wars, Book 1. So we were going through this. We are on Chapter 15 today. Adam.
Yo.
After this episode,
Yeah.
10 more chapters. And we're done.
More chapters.
So, yeah.
All right.
We got 10 more chapters after this. And we're done with this season 1. So if you're new to this, the way this works is Adam reads a chapter from the book. Afterwards, we discuss that chapter and how it is as a standalone chapter, as well as how it works with what comes before it. But before we get to that reading, we're going to ask you, if you go on to enjoy this, why don't you hit that smash that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got running content on this channel. And if you're up for some terrible gameplay, go check out Adam's channel over at ZOP Gaming. They're just the worst.
We are the best at being mediocre.
They're pros at being bad.
Yes.
But with all that out of the way, we'll get to the reading.
Chapter 15. Freedom. A few hours later, Trall was comfortably sitting on the couch in the living room, while Monono was standing looking out the window only a few feet away. They were both unhappy about the misplacing of the scroll. "Where could that girl be?" Monono shouted. "We finally have the person we need, but we lost the scroll." "Look at it this way," Trall said as he stood up and walked over to Monono. "That was when you were doing business with that fool David Toller. Of course he was going to make mistakes. However, I have the woods being searched as we speak, where Cyrus would have taken her. It won't be long until we have both the scroll and the Godchild." "That is true," Monono said. "I will soon have the Almighty's power. The dragon will be no match for me, and once he is out of the way, I'll take the throne of heaven and send that Almighty himself to the abyss where he belongs." "Yes," Trall said. "I will be at your left hand, and we will rule the universe together." "I have waited so many years for this to happen," Monono said. "Soon I will finally get what I deserve. I can't wait much longer." "In due time, Monono," Troll said. "The Shadkins and the Dragpents will find the girl and the scroll." "One thing I am not good at is patience," Monono said. "Troll, you would be wise not to mention that to me again." Troll slowly stepped away from Monono, realizing his last comment was not good. Afraid that he might punish him for those words, he wanted to leave him so he could cool down. "I understand, Master," Troll replied. "I'm going to check on our guest downstairs." Troll walked towards the entrance to the hallway when Monono turned around and started to follow him. Troll did not realize this until he was already in the hall. Monono walked up behind him and placed his left hand on his shoulder. Troll stopped, fearing for the most. "No need to check on her," Monono said. "She is not going anywhere. Come with me to the backyard. I am going to summon all of my followers. I think it is time to motivate them so that they search even harder." "Sure," Troll said, following behind Monono as they walked through the house. Once they reached the back door in the kitchen, Monono opened it and walked outside. Troll followed and closed the door behind him. When he turned around, he was surprised to see that the yard was full of shadkins, as well as a few hundred cloaked figures. There were no dragpents present. Trial figured that was because they were a lower class of dark spirit.
My fellow followers,
Manono began.
We are so close to achieving our goal to gain the power of the Almighty and to take his throne and overthrow the great dragon. We have all waited so long for this time to come, but something remains in our way. The scroll. We need to remove the powers from the Godchild is missing. The girl's younger sister, who we had earlier, has escaped due to help from Cyrus. He has taken her to one of the many safe places they use around the world. I am convinced he did not take her far. So when they have rescued the Godchild, they could unite them. Those who have already been searching, keep at it. But I want to add some motivation for you all. The one who brings me the scroll will be made second in command.
Hey, Troll said. We have a deal.
I know,
Manono said.
that I misspoke. I meant third in command. So if you did not have any motivation to search your hardest, now you do. Now go.
Manono and Troll turned around and walked back to the door. Troll opened it for Manono, who walked inside. He followed after and shut the door. The two walked through the house back into the living room where Manono sat on the couch while Troll remained standing. From the look on his face, he was deep in thought. Manono noticed and piped up.
What's on your mind?
Manono asked. I was just thinking about Cyrus's involvement in the escape of the girl's sister. He replied. Why didn't he attempt to free both of them? She was just on the other side of the basement doors.
He knew that if he stayed too long, he would have to deal with me.
Manono answered. True, Troll said. However, if he is an angel, wouldn't he be able to fight against you?
Yes and no,
Manono said.
Yes, he could fight back against me, but he knows he does not stand a chance against me. Before the fall, I was a higher-ranking angel. He is just a common angel. Even though we are on different sides, I am still far more powerful than he. He is like the angels that follow me. He could fight against them and have a chance at winning. Only an archangel, ranking angel, could do battle against me and stand a chance.
I see, Troll said. They may stand a chance, but they would still lose. Especially once you have the power of their boss.
You got that right,
Monono said. Meanwhile, down in the basement, Natalie was in her cell sitting in the wood board that was bolted to the concrete wall. Meanwhile, down in the basement, Natalie was in her cell sitting on the wood board that was bolted to the concrete wall. She sat with her knees to her chest and her arms wrapped around them and her face pressed into her legs. Quietly, she cried out of fear for her own life. "Why did I come here?" Natalie said. "I should have just listened to Cyrus. I know now that they wouldn't have done anything to Kiana since I was the one they wanted." "You're right. You should have listened," a voice said from somewhere in the basement. "Who said that?" Natalie said as she lifted her head from her knees. "I leave you for a few hours and you forget my name?" Cyrus said as he walked up to the cell doors. "Cyrus!" Natalie said, jumping to her feet and walking over to the cell bars. You've come to get me out of here?" "Who said anything about me helping you escape?" he asked. "I just came to see how you were doing." "Why won't you help me escape?" Natalie asked. "You made a choice to come here," Cyrus replied. "Now you need to live with that choice and the consequence that comes with it. At least you know that you made a mistake. Most people never admit that. They just blame it on someone else." You're right. I was wrong not to listen to you and stay in the hotel room," Natalie said. But please, get me out of here." "Just because I was sent here to watch over you doesn't mean you get the easy way out," Cyrus said. "I must do what I am told, and since you decided not to listen to me, which the Almighty wanted, you decided not to go along with it." "Come on," Natalie said. "I made a mistake. I thought the Almighty is the God of second chances." "He is," Cyrus said as he walked over to the stairs. "However, just because he does forgive and gives not just second chances, but 1 billionth chances, doesn't mean there are not some kind of consequences." "Please," Natalie begged as she got on her knees. "No," Cyrus said, walking over to the cell. "I can tell you this. If you stay in this cell and patiently, I'll be back to help you escape when the Almighty allows it. Until then..." "Wait," Natalie said. "At least tell me how Kiana is doing." "She's doing great," Cyrus said. "I took her somewhere where she will be safe. Goodbye." "Her backpack," Natalie shouted. "What?" Cyrus asked. "In the backpack Kiana has with her is the scroll that Monono and Troll are looking for," Natalie said, standing back up. "I know," Cyrus said. "That is where it will stay. Why do you think I am not allowed to help you escape? Since the scroll is with her, you are in no real danger. Monono would not think of hurting the Godchild out of fear that you would die and you would have to look for the new Godchild." "Wait," Natalie said. "If you know the scroll is in her backpack, why don't you just take it to heaven so Monono can never get it?" "Until your sister feels she can trust me," Cyrus said, "she will not tell me about having the scroll. Until she does that, I'm ordered not to take it." "Oh," Natalie replied. "What if she does tell you? Does that mean you will come set me free?" "That would be up to the Almighty," Cyrus said. He might not want Monono to know where the scroll is. I'll be back to check on you later. Be a good girl and do not go anywhere. Cyrus walked out of sight, but Natalie tried to see if she could see him. After a few minutes, she gave up and sat back down on the wooden board. I'm never going to get out of this place, Natalie said. She just sat on the board thinking of what life was like before all of this started. Thinking that dealing with Aaron and her rumors was better than what she was going through now, Natalie continued to think about good times. After an hour, something Cyrus had said about how if she stayed and waited patiently and not to go anywhere kept going through her mind. Why would he say that? Natalie asked herself. He knows I can't leave, unless he was hinting that there was some way out. Natalie quickly stood back up and began looking all over the cell for a possible way out. After 5 minutes, she saw nothing that would actually work. A few ideas she had required tools that she did not have. Once again, she sat back on the board when she remembered something. I never returned the keys back to where they were, Natalie said. So where did they go? Natalie glanced over to where she had been standing while Kiana went and grabbed the scroll. She slowly and carefully surveyed the floor until she spotted the keys. They were only a few feet away from the cell door. She jumped to the floor, reached her hand through the opening between the bars, and tried to grab the keys. Her arm was just a few inches too short to reach them. For 10 minutes, all Natalie did was try to grab those keys. Finally, she gave up when she remembered that she had a belt on. She took off the belt and held it in her hand, and once again, she stretched her arm through the bars. When she got as far as her arm could, she threw the buckle of her belt, which hit the keys. Natalie pulled the belt in only to have the keys move a little. So she tried it again and again. After 8 tries, she got the keys to move just enough where she could grab them. Once she had them, she pulled her arm back into the cell. She quickly stood up and put her belt back on. Quickly, she placed the keys in the lock, turned it, unlocking the door. She slowly pushed the door open and stepped out into the open basement. She stretched her arms and back. It felt so good to be out of the small cell. She started walking towards the stairs when it dawned on her. That is why Cyrus was saying not to go anywhere, she said to herself. He knew that he was going to leave the keys just out of reach for me. I should stay and wait to see what happens. Natalie started to walk back towards the cell when she thought again about how Kiana got free without Cyrus's help until she refused to leave with her. She also realized that this was going to be her only chance to escape. If she waited to see if Cyrus was going to help her, it could be a while. Going against her better judgment, Natalie turned back around and headed towards the stairs. How am I going to get through that house without anyone noticing I'm here? Natalie asked herself. Wait, when that guy who found me went through the basement doors, he didn't relock them. Natalie walked carefully over to the basement doors and gently lifted the door open. Seeing that she was right and the fresh air rushing into the room and into her nose felt good, and the smell of the flowers from the garden came into the basement with air, all thoughts of waiting for Cyrus vanished. Wait, what if one of those creatures is outside waiting for me? Natalie asked herself as she looked at the wall of the basement. There she spotted a knife on the shelf. She walked over to it and picked it up. Natalie did not realize it was a hunting knife when she first spotted it. This will work fine. Walking back to the steps that lead out to the basement side doors, Natalie walked up to the steps just enough so she could peek her head out to see if the coast was clear. After a quick glance, she walked up the steps onto the firm ground. Not wanting anyone to know where she went, she closed the basement door as quietly as she could. With the door shut, she took off towards the woods, hoping to reach them and use it as cover before anyone and anything could spot her. Running as fast as she could, the edge of the woods quickly became closer and closer. From the backyard, 2 drag pens came around the corner just before Natalie reached the woods. Spotting her, they took off after her. She reached the woods and continued running further into them as fast as she could. The drag pens were only so far behind her, and since she knew it would only be a matter of time before they caught up to her. After a few moments of running, she came to the path that led further into the woods. Instead of trying to dodge low branches and holes, Natalie jumped on the path, which allowed her to speed up. 2 minutes later, she came across a pile of fallen down dead trees 10 feet off the path. I could hide behind them until the creatures move on, Natalie thought. She jumped off the path and charged right for the pile of trees. Behind her, the drag pens snapped branches and their footsteps could be heard. With nothing to cause her to slow down, Natalie used everything she had to make it to the pile. Once there, she jumped into the pile and climbed to the top and jumped to the ground behind it. As she jumped behind the pile, the 2 drag pens came into view. Obviously, they did not see her jump on the pile. The creatures continued down the path. Natalie stayed low and slowly caught her breath. All she could think of was how she did it without Cyrus's help. "Easy, Natalie," she said to herself. "You're not out of the danger yet. There is no telling when those creatures might come back." For the next 30 minutes, Natalie stayed behind the pile of dead trees. The 2 drag pens had yet to come back that way, which made her start to think they might not. Then she started to get this feeling they might come back, but not along the path, but through the woods, and see her hiding behind the pile. So she slowly moved to the edge of the pile and took a look around. Nothing. The coast was clear. Natalie stood up and started to move when she heard a noise up ahead on the path. She ducked back down as the drag pens came back into view. Fearing they might have seen her, she tried to move back behind the pile. While she was moving, she noticed the creatures were not just following the path, but they were searching for any sign where she might be. She moved to a spot where she could see the creatures without giving away she was there. The drag pens walked down the path before walking off it several feet, searching on the branches as well for footprints. Every now and then, one would take a sniff of the air to see if it could pick up her scent. After 10 minutes of the creatures came right up to the opposite side of the pile of trees. It looked around the area but returned to the path. Once it met up with the other one, they continued down the path. Natalie was so relieved she stopped following them. She sat on the ground to wait until they were gone. As she started to sit, her shirt caught one of the branches that was sticking out. With a snap, the branch broke. The noise was picked up by the drag pens, which turned and faced the pile of dead trees. "Great," Natalie said. Not taking the chance the creatures heard it, she took off running. The drag pens saw her and followed her. Once again, dodging branches, holes, and rocks, Natalie was unable to run as fast as she could. Fully recovered from running earlier, she knew she could run for a while, especially when she was not running as fast as she could. As she ran, the two creatures slowly started to close in on her. After 5 minutes, the drag pens were only a few feet behind her. With one of its hands, the one in front reached out its arm and grabbed her by the back of her shirt. Since she was running so fast, the front of her shirt ripped from the top to the bottom of her abdomen. The sleeve part of the lower back ripped as well. Natalie stopped with great force, causing her to fall to the ground. The back of the shirt slipped from the creature's grip as she fell. That did not stop the drag pen from reaching down and grabbing her by it again. As she lifted back to her feet, Natalie grabbed the knife from her belt and slashed at the creature. The blade caught it right across the arm, which made it let go of the shirt. Natalie slashed at the creature again, causing it to back up into the other one. Not wasting any time, she took off running again. Her shirt flapped in the air now that it was ripped, which only slowed her down. "This was a good shirt," Natalie said. "Just glad that I have my tank top under it." Natalie came to a downhill slope that a river ran through. The slope was very steep with brush about halfway down. Before she could run down it, the drag pent grabbed her shirt, causing it to rip even more. The creature lifted her off her feet and brought her right to its face. This creature's eyes were beet red, and the smell of dead animal was on its breath. The drag pent raised its other arms and was ready to strike at her, but Natalie beat it. She shoved the knife into its left eye. The creature let go of her, causing her to drop to the ground. An ear-blistering scream came from the creature as it fell to the ground dead. The other drag pent saw that she did not pull the knife from the eye before she was dropped. Natalie lay on the ground when the other creature reached for her. Seeing the hand coming, she rolled over the edge of the slope, avoiding the drag pent's grasp. Within seconds, she was out of sight.
So, Adam, quick question.
Yes.
What does slash mean?
Hey, you know what? It's a slash that's really sassy.
Okay, that's what I wrote down here.
Yeah.
And basically, I said an attack with sass on it.
Oh, so much sass.
So, and Natalie's the perfect person to do that.
Perfect. She gives sass when she's not trying to.
She's just like slashing the knife. It's just like,
I'm gonna cut you.
it's like, did that hurt? How about this?
It's like, no, but there are small cuts. Ow, they're bleeding so much.
Or just like, it's like it cuts. It's like, your skin is so rough. How dare you have so rough skin?
Have you used any body wash lately?
See, there's only one other person who would be. See, I can see Natalie just being the a trainee in the art of slash.
Yes.
There is one person in a character we've met already.
Oh,
who would be a master already?
Cyrus?
No.
Oh,
Aaron.
yes. Aaron would be.
Aaron is the master of slash. She
just doesn't know it yet.
She just punch you and go like, "Oh, why is your skin so rough?"
Yeah,
I can't believe you're wearing. I can't believe you're wearing that skirt.
That is so 2005.
As she's beating you up, and she's not punching. Let's be honest, she's not punching. She's slapping you.
Oh yeah.
As she's like taking you apart for your wardrobe.
Smack. Oh, those shoes. They've got lights on them. Smack.
Yep. Okay.
You're not wearing wheelies.
Okay. Since we got that out of the way,
Yeah.
let's start from the top of this in the whole big picture of this chapter. Your thoughts on the big picture?
The big picture, finding out that Monono doesn't misspeak, but totally somewhat misspeak. No, he doesn't.
We'll get there, but overall big picture.
It's a lot of this is going to happen with a whole lot of that's never going to happen. The undertone of, yeah, that's just not going to happen. While everyone's like, we are doing this. There's a lot of that going on in this chapter.
So a setup chapter?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the best way possible.
It's definitely a setup chapter. I know at one point I wanted I wanted other stuff to happen in between this chapter and the next chapter.
Yep.
Based on how the next chapter starts. And I think in my original draft there might have been another chapter here first. But
yeah.
And by the time I got there, I moved it around, and it becomes so it makes no sense what happens the next. Why we start there?
Awesome.
But I wanted we'll talk about that when we get to that chapter. But yeah, it's a setup chapter. And it feels a lot like the cool. We'll use Kiana to draw her in, and then never actually set that what they do, and Natalie just does it on her own.
Yep.
It feels like that kind of chapter.
Oh, great.
To me. Yes, we do get some progression here, some character development for Natalie.
Kind of. But
in the worst way possible.
Okay.
I as I've been
let's go through the chapter.
yes, but just so
yeah.
quick thing. It's like as I mentioned to you on offline, so that you know what I'm talking about here. It's like this is the first chapter of at least 2 chapters where we're gonna be going, what the fuck, God, what the fuck, Cyrus, about things and why they're there. And there might be even a 3rd chapter, but I don't know for a fact there's 2 of them. So, but yeah, let's go through the chapter. Let's start with the opening of this chapter, Adam.
Yeah, let's do that.
This
I didn't realize Monono and Troll.
First, Adam, I have a note here for you.
Yeah.
Adam, it's Troll. We have a troll. We're dealing with a troll.
Yeah. Okay. What?
That's gonna be the running joke for the rest of the
thing, Jacob, and Monono, just chilling out in the living room.
I wrote my first bullet is the idea of the 2 villains relaxing is pure genius.
It's the weirdest thing ever. And they go from, hey, we need to do something about this, to, by the way, also, where's Dr. Toller now in his own house?
Remember, he died in the last chapter.
No, he didn't. He went upstairs.
No, you're thinking of a few chapters back. This is...
Yeah. They cut him in half and then put his pieces back together.
Yep,
and sent it out there
with the Shadkin in it.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
All right.
It's like, where's Dr. Toll? Like, I forgot
it's
about
David that we just
got rid of.
He went upstairs.
No, that's Daniel.
Daniel. David Toller. I forgot.
And apparently he left.
He just went somewhere.
He went somewhere.
He's actually taking a nap.
Oh wait, he gets some character development in a few chapters, in the stupidest way possible.
Yeah, he actually went upstairs and took over the game that Monono was playing.
Yeah,
he's got the headphones on, soundproof room. He is deep diving into this.
Yep,
it's Minecraft.
No. He got an early copy of GTA 6.
Oh,
back in 2005.
Oof, that is.
Yeah.
I don't think GTA 3 was out yet.
No. Yes? Yeah. Or no? Maybe? I don't know. I don't remember when GTA 3 came out.
2001. So yes, it was out.
Yeah, so they had Monono had a PlayStation 5 back in 2005 and was playing GTA 6 back then. That's why he was so entrenched. He was test playing it so early.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daniel just disappears. We'll get some character development for what I don't even know why I went with that. I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you if that was the original plan or if that was the plan. I changed it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we have them relaxing, which is actually an interesting idea that these two are relaxing.
Interesting.
Usually you focus on the characters who are actually doing the work.
Yes.
No, I decided to focus on the characters who were just sitting there and relaxing.
They were just having a good time.
And doing jack shit.
And
until Monono decides to motivate his
followers.
Oh, by the way, I have a quick question here. This will be a question I'll be asking in a few chapters, but I'm going to ask it here now.
Okay.
A few hundred cloak figures. Where do they end up going?
That's my thing.
Oh no, you'll understand that in a few chapters.
Okay.
Where did all these cloak figures go? Especially, as I already mentioned, all of his forces were sent to go to protect the sword, so Michael cannot get it.
But where did these guys come from?
Apparently, he summoned them back.
Oh, okay. He's like,
but
hey.
Again, when we get to there, all of a sudden, where did these guys go? But not just there, but other things that will pop up.
It's like, where did they go?
Where'd they go? But yes. Oh, and by the way, we're just sounding this a score right here, Adam. Making it very clear. Monono absolutely 100% did not misspeak.
Right.
He clearly was giving away
the second in command right then.
The troll's second in command spot.
He's like, what? No, I'm going to promote you. It's okay. Don't worry. They are second in command. You are 1.5 in command. Like, what? And I'm 0 in command. And they're like, no, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting idea there. And it actually could be an interesting way if you saw that of point of view chapter of them actually looking.
Oh, yeah.
And that way to look and make them see how they were doing it beforehand, and then a character popping up here and then going off and seeing how much different their motivation is now.
Yeah.
Would have been cool if I was thinking it back that all the way back then.
Yeah.
I honestly think that part of this chapter was put in there because I have nothing here. Something's got to happen here. Let's motivate the troops. Because
I love how they go outside, they motivate the troops, they go back inside and go right back to relaxing. Just traded positions.
Oh, you're forgetting something, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But the funny thing is, the person who was tasked first with this, the Shadowkin who is possessing Dr. Toller's body, is not here.
No, not at all.
But so he's tasked one Shadowkin, and then Monono decided a few hours, he's taking too long. Now I'll motivate my troops.
I'll motivate everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh, and the one that I specifically told out there is not part of this deal.
Yes.
So if that one finds Kiana with a safe house,
yep, and brings
they
all
earn
them back,
nothing.
And all that, they don't get the promotion to third in command. Oh, by the way, so the info Monono being a higher rank angel than Cyrus before the fall. Is that needed?
No.
Shouldn't Troll know this already if he's been working with him?
Yeah.
Or was this Troll's I can make a case here. If this is Troll's first actual interaction with another angel on the righteous side. And it just never came up. I could see that.
Maybe.
But we know nothing about their history and never will know how long these two have been working together.
Nope.
It is implied multiple times they've been working to each other for a long time. But also not that long at all.
I know.
So,
because it was implied that both Jacob and Monono were the ones pulling the strings so that Toller would find the scroll and bring all this together. So that they could swoop in at the last second and take over.
I'm going to put this part here. Because when we get to a chapter in 3 chapters...
But then it's also implied that they just kind of met last week.
Hold on. I'm going to put this out here because it's going to take a final different twist in a few chapters.
Okay.
But I'm not going to bring up what that twist is until that chapter. It's heavily implied that Monono had the scroll, gives it to Dr. Toller, so he can... and then this is a trip so they could get up this. But at the same time, it's also implied that Monono did not know that Dr. Toller has it, and Jacob's the one who told him. And this is when their partnership kind of starts.
What?
Okay, that's the confusion right there. That's where we are at the story and what we kind of hinted at. I've hinted at so far. It's going to get even worse when what actually is happening in a few chapters.
Oh, God. I mean, Cyrus.
No, that's next chapter.
Well, all right.
But yeah, that's... I wanted something for the villains, because again, this is an exact copy, me copying Shadowmancer, and we got things from the villain's viewpoint.
Right.
And which I think is cool, but I didn't know what to have them do. And in that same chapter, when we figure out what actually the plan was, and what happens there is literally to throw in there because not enough mystical stuff happens.
Okay.
For me, and I decided to just randomly throw it instead of adding more stuff into it earlier on. Again, first novel, it's understandable, but at the same time, I look back and like, how did I get this an actual functioning story for my first novel kind of works. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be worked on.
Yes.
But it turned out way better than it probably should have.
Yes. Much like some video games, it came out a lot better than than its level is better than it is, but it's still not very. I'll be honest, it's not very good.
Yeah.
It's still really rough.
Oh yeah, and as I've mentioned, this is not the draft I thought we were reading. It's another draft that I had made changes to later on
That you
without fully rewriting it, and not making the correct changes when I needed to. So, yeah, because I'm pretty sure we find out what happens with Cyrus when he gets to Kiana. But we don't find out what happens to not Cyrus, Sage, until well after that.
Jeez.
We actually find out what happens with that by him telling Natalie later on.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Oh. Wait until we get to the part in the story where he's like, I gotta go to get Kiana. At the end of one chapter. And the next chapter starts with him and Cyrus still there. Hours later.
Hours later.
Now I have to go get her.
Just
Apparently,
they just stood there and watched.
The Almighty decided, no, you gotta go get her later, not now. Oh, okay, I made a mistake. My bad.
One moment, guys. Just wait here.
We'll get to those chapters.
All right, now you can go.
Yeah, change of plans. You're not going now. So I just have to go back in there after I said, just go on like you never said it.
Just move on.
Yeah. Do we want to go to the Natalie sections? The good stuff?
Oh,
of this
no,
chapter?
no. The last thing that I have to say regarding the fact that the chapter begins with basically, Jacob, Troll, and it's having a bromance, and it ends with them the same way. It's like Monono goes from having, a very large perspective and looking down on mortals and all of that stuff to looking at Troll and going, "Hey, bud, what you thinking about?" So it's just like, sorry, what? And it's just like, no villain suddenly is just like, you know what, bud? You seem troubled.
See, I think what I was going for that was, again, it goes on to how long have these two been working together?
Yeah.
Applying that it goes on longer, but I've also applied that they just started working together.
There's a lot of back and forth on they don't know enough about each other, but they also have a really deep connection.
But I think the idea was, maybe the subconscious was, the way Monono deals with Toller is that he doesn't want to work with him. He doesn't. It's just all part of a plan to get this. And
he was just a means to an end.
Yes, but there is an actual relationship. Well, he does look down on mortals. There are a few he doesn't mind so much.
He's like, don't worry, I'll kill you quickly when the apocalypse comes.
As long as you remember who you're dealing with and give me the all I deserve, we're fine.
I might even keep you alive.
But it's...
Maybe.
I think that's maybe what I was going for. I couldn't tell you at this point.
Okay, all right.
Well, I've remembered a lot of things I remember from writing this. This is not one of them. I just remember, I'm pretty sure, almost certainty, that the whole thing of them motivating the troops was so something happened. Progress was made.
From their point of view.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it was in just a short chapter of Natalie in her cell. Speaking of Natalie in her cell, should we go to that one now?
Meanwhile, in the basement.
Yep. It's one of those chapters I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know how to get the transition across, so instead of just cutting there.
By the way, the meanwhile in a place,
yep,
in such and such place, is a wonderful trope.
Oh, I know.
throwing it in there randomly. It was meanwhile, in the basement, Natalie is sitting inside a cell that was designed for Kiana, which means that it's probably about 4 to 5 inches too short for her to fully stand up in. She's like, ugh.
No, it's just like it's a normal room in the basement with doors on it.
Yeah, except for the fact that she had to get up and stretch when she finally, we'll get to that point. And I'll explain why.
Well, we're there
dimensions.
now.
So yeah, when she finally gets out of the cage, she stands up and fully stretches finally.
Well, because she was been on the board this entire time.
No, it implies that she was in a small cage.
No, it doesn't. It implies that she's been laying down for too long.
She could have done that when she got up first. Never mind. Okay. Cyrus popping in from absolutely nowhere.
Oh, that's funny. That's my first bullet here. It's,
Okay.
How the hell does Cyrus just pop in?
I don't know.
Also, joking with Natalie about forgetting his name. Is this the appropriate time for this stuff?
It's absolutely not. Like, Cyrus, I understand. He is manipulating the situation.
Him doing it with popping when he checks in on stage, understandable.
Oh, yeah.
It's an important task, but it's not. I'm a prisoner with people who want me dead if they find a piece of paper.
They're upstairs. They want me dead right now.
But they don't have a
But
piece
they
of...
need the piece of paper to be able to conduct the ceremony.
They need the contract. The napkin contract. That goes back to something on your channel.
The 24-dimensional paper napkin.
A napkin contract.
Yes.
That I signed with ZOP Gaming for pro wrestling that I don't even provide to you
you
anymore.
don't even provide for it. So you're in breach of contract now.
Only on 3 of the 24 pages. Actually, Adam, just so you know,
Yeah.
we've only covered 24 pages, dimensional
There's
pages.
others.
There's
dimensional pages.
There's about 220 other dimensional pages. Anyway,
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, but yes, this piece of paper. So it's like, yeah, I don't think. You gotta have to be a kind of a douche.
Also, Monono says that Cyrus won't show up here.
No. He said he won't rescue her.
Yes, because, he would invoke the wrath of Monono. While Cyrus appears in the basement, 1 floor down.
I actually think there's a somewhere in the chapter where there's another appearance. I think it's at the end of the next chapter. In 2 chapters, he appears to Natalie again in the cell. Oops, spoilers.
Whoa.
And we actually have one where we see Monono knew about it and didn't do anything because he's like, I know he's not gonna try to take her. I know he's down there. Okay, if he tries something, I'll stop him. But like, I actually do think they actually do use try to use that as a way to follow him. I can't remember.
Okay. I mean that
but I can't remember.
As of right now.
Yes. But like, yeah, this whole thing, it's like, yeah, it's probably not the best time.
Also, Cyrus, why didn't you just rescue her? I mean,
we covered this. Monono's upstairs.
Yeah, but that
he
doesn't...
big angel. Cyrus tiny angel. No.
Just go.
But yes, but on that fact, it's not even, we covered that as a basis. But the real reason is he gets this response to me from now. And I'm the one who wrote this. Knowing why, believing why I wrote this was the right reason for it. Is the Almighty is not, oh, by the way, the Almighty is not an all-powerful God. He is the God of second chances. He's a God like the Greeks' gods. Instead of the God of the bush or the wind, he's the God of second chances. That's why he can't do anything.
Yeah.
So why does everyone want his power if you're going to give second chances?
I don't know.
But yes. Oh, and then he was like, oh, what the fuck, Cyrus? You could take the scroll and end this conflict. What kind of God would order make an order not to take the scroll just because the little girl
Hasn't told you.
about it. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's you know.
Again, like I mentioned, this is the start of the what the fuck, almighty.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's too many restrictions to why things won't happen when you know that these things need to happen.
Okay, so let me explain the rationale from the Christian standpoint I had back then. And
Okay.
it's a standard Christian practice of belief and things. This is me putting in a system of God testing you. Because the Almighty, a loving God, all-powerful God,
Really loves testing.
loves you. But he also wants to test you to make sure you're going to stay loyal to him. Since when does love require testing?
Yeah,
If you have to test someone's love,
that's
then
you're a toxic person.
well, either you're a toxic person or you don't truly trust that they love you.
You know that's the whole. You know,
But what if this happens? Would they say that? I don't know. We gotta let's put them in that situation to find out, to make sure they'll stay true to what I tell them to do. That's their mind frame. That was my mind frame.
That is
That's
the girlfriend who is asking her boyfriend if he would still love her if she was a worm. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, but that's the rationale behind this idea of, God is testing you. It's how he makes you a better person. No,
Nope.
but it's what Christians stand like. If you as a person did that to a person, you are toxic. Mm-hmm. And anyone who, even Christians would say that. But God does that. Oh, we don't
Totally cool.
We don't understand his ways. He's too above what we can understand.
Damn these gods.
And all that. So we have to just trust. No, we don't. Absolutely do not have to trust that. And it's going to get even worse in the next chapter. Not necessarily worse, but
Just as ridiculous.
But just as ridiculous.
Way more of, look, trust me, and here are the consequences of your actions.
And if you did not believe this was a young adult novel, Adam, I'm going to prove it to you right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And not if I've proved it already, but I'm going to absolutely prove it right now. Now they admits she made a mistake by not listening to Cyrus, and then immediately does it again.
Yep.
Like young adult novel.
Yeah. Even better is, he's like, hey, you wouldn't be in this cage if you did what I told you.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, that's true.
Well, no, she admitted
You
that
want to rescue me? And he's like, no.
She admitted it to herself before he said that, but then it also confirms it.
And then he says to her, he's like, hey, stay here, be patient, you are safe,
Yep.
and just stay here. You're okay. Nothing is going to happen to you.
Now, on that alone, take the testing part off of it and everything. Cyrus is right.
Yeah.
She is not.
This is the consequence of your action of not staying at the hotel. You're here, but you're also safe.
But think about it. There is no harm unless something decides to start torturing her for fun of it.
But they're also afraid that, they need to keep her alive.
Yes.
No matter what. So it's easier to just keep her in the cage. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Until a few chapters and something.
And then...
But anyway, just that rationale alone. He's right. You may be in a cell, but you're not going to be killed yet.
Nope.
And if you do that, I will get you out before anything bad happens to you.
Exactly.
So the rationale is there. But the real reason before there is to test if she'll listen. That's the whole point here.
Again.
Because I put in here underneath that. My original place here was Cyrus appears over by the stairs where the keys were. And we saw him pick it up and I guess kind of hint that he put it back down. Then walks over to we're now closer to the cell. As Adam is coughing into a sweatshirt so he doesn't make a big loud noise.
It's perfectly fine.
Because it's supposed to be him who puts the key on the ground.
a few feet away from the
Yes.
door of the cell.
Just out of reach. But then...
That nobody noticed until Natalie remembers that there's a key.
But then, because I didn't... That wasn't the original draft, how that was. But when I made changes and made this... rearrange things for this draft...
Yeah.
That got saved... I clearly decided that didn't work, so we're going to just have Natalie... Somehow the key ended up on the floor with Natalie there.
You know, it's a mysterious way.
But I clearly forgot to change that to Cyrus being mentioning her mentioning Cyrus put it there after I made that change.
No. There's no need. It just...
Oh, and the fact that Natalie happens to find a knife on her way out.
Yeah, that too. The Almighty works in mysterious ways, bro.
Yeah.
That, to me, that actually works. With now, it's obvious that the Almighty, because of her decision not to follow Cyrus, is now testing.
No, tempting.
Tempting her.
Tempting was the correct the word.
So that, she will obviously be...
Okay, I gotta interrupt you here.
Yes.
Because it's just on my mind, I have to say this.
Okay.
How come when the Almighty puts something in front of you, it's him testing you? But the devil puts it in front of you, he's tempting you.
Yeah, I know.
It's the exact fucking same thing.
I know.
The Almighty's tempting you, but it's okay because he truly loves... No!
It's still a tempt.
It's tempting you. Why does he have to tempt you?
So he can punish you.
Yes, exactly.
That's really what it is a lot of the time.
Yes.
I really want to punish this guy for reasons, but...
study agnosticism's version of, like, everything, that I've gotten a lot of videos on lately, and saying, the God we have here is not believes he's the only God. Based on because of this being called Sophia, tried to create something without using the correct forces, and the God was that, and he was ejected into the void, and that's why he thinks it, and he created the material world as a prison for his entertainment and everything.
Did it?
That's really basically what... Like,
did he turn the channel and forgot about us?
No.
Tune in. Oh, man.
He's really there. He wants you to focus on the material world and all that for his entertainment. It's weird. Anyway.
Okay.
But, like, yeah, this is like, no, that fully falls into the idea of God tempting you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But he's testing. No, he's not. A God who truly loves, yes, punishes, but not the way you try to justify it with the fatherly figure.
No. The best part about that is that would be like a parent telling their kid, you're not going out tonight. And then going into their room, opening the window to outside, putting a ladder up against the window, and giving them $60. You're not going out tonight. And then they
go to your room.
Anyway. Yeah.
Nope, and go to your room.
Yeah.
And stay there for the rest of the night.
I'm going to go to bed now. Right now. And they're like, you just gave them everything to go sneak. They're going to go sneak out. That's not tempting. That is literally going, I'm giving you every ability to do the thing that I'm telling you not to do. And I'm going to help you. In fact, they drove them to the party. That is a parent who's like, look, I told you. You're staying home tonight. Call me in the morning to pick you up. But you're not going out tonight. Nope.
And when do you pick him up? How dare you go out?
Yeah, I know.
You're grounded.
You're grounded. And like, you brought me here. You actually you started playing some of the drinking games with us. It was awkward.
Yeah, it's just... okay, back to your point.
Oh, it's just... It doesn't make sense. It's a lot of WTF.
Yeah. And it's like... Oh, and also, after she does get away... Oh, gotta bring this up again. What happened to the force field?
Yep. What happened to it?
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
Why did he only use it? Why didn't it stay up again?
Just the one time.
The one time? because he knew that Keanu was probably gonna run if he got away.
Yep, that's the only time it got used.
See, they brought the force field down as part of their plan when they were gonna reach out to Natalie.
Yeah.
Not realizing Natalie was gonna come so soon.
And they forgot to put it back up.
And they just keep with Dr. Toller now dead.
They can't put it back up
Dead.
again. Yeah.
They forgot. They don't. Some troll.
Troll.
Troll doesn't know how. Apparently, he doesn't know. The most powerful magician or wizard in the world doesn't know the spell how to do it.
Actually, it's just something he never learned.
It was too basic for him.
Yeah, it was just. It's so basic.
It's so basic. That's kind. You're so force field around your perimeter. It's so basic.
I just have security instead.
Yeah. But yeah, there. Also, I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
And I really want an answer for this.
Maybe.
For this YA novel. Why the fuck does a teenager stay in the location for 30 minutes to ensure that no one's coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going back the way she went.
There is a lot of time that happens in this chapter of we didn't do anything. Like the looking around the cage for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cage. You know what the four corners are.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it taking 5 minutes? And then another 10 minutes.
She broke it up into sectors and thoroughly checked each sector.
And then reaching through the cage for 10 minutes before going, I'm wearing a belt.
That is, but most of those sectors are understandable. The only thing in them is dirt and nothing and air. Yeah. But she wanted to make sure
it's bolted to the floor. The corners are welded shut. She's not banging on the walls to get out.
But and then 10 minutes.
10 minutes of stretching before going, I'm wearing a belt.
See, that's why she had to stretch her arm. She overextended. Now she's got to stretch that
for
muscle.
10 minutes. I'd be using the other arm.
She's got to stretch the other way, so it's not. Yeah.
Jeez, it's so. And then opening the door to the back. Now, when you imagined this, was it a vertical door that swings out and in?
No, it's like those basement doors that are at an angle.
Yeah, the storm doors.
Yeah, storm doors. That's what I'm imagining.
Because on my parents' house, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
We had the stairs that came up through the back from the basement that went to a vertical door.
Yeah.
That opened up.
No, this was the storm doors.
Okay.
Cellar doors, like you.
So she fully opened them.
Yep.
Waited, something like 5-10 minutes as well.
She didn't do that. She was looking around to make sure it was clear.
And then closed it. Got the knife.
No, the knife was she already had.
Then opened it again.
No. She went. You're just adding things for the ridiculous.
And then she turned around and closed it again.
You're just making
then
ridiculousness.
Ran for the wood line.
No, she gets free, grabs the knife on the way to the doors, opens them. Either she checks it. I think she actually checks them.
Yeah.
Then closes, because if it's not clear, she can close the door and try to lock it so they can't get to her. But once she closes clear,
then goes back out,
closes them, then runs because she waited so long, and they're just jetting through it. Now I understand, trying to make him think that she's still down there. I get it, but you should have been like this: coast is clear, close, run. Not.
They didn't even know that she was loose yet.
Well, the idea is that I think the dragons are.
That they're always on patrol.
They're kind of patrolling. But there's no real reason for them to be patrolling other than for this scene.
No. In case their enemies come. They are. See, as I said earlier, Troll doesn't need the. It doesn't need the.
I got it.
Thing.
I got the answer. These dragpins, they're searching for the scroll.
Oh, for crying out
Remember,
loud.
I kind of implied that these creatures are kind of dumb.
They're kind of dumb.
So
He's like, we're looking for him, man. And they're like,
the girl was out. The girl who has it was last seen outside the house
yeah. So
Not
we're gonna
looking-
look outside the house.
together,
Well, I mean,
kind
dude,
of.
you always got to be. You got to keep your buddy with you. The buddy system is
you
how
need
it
your
works.
wingman.
Yeah.
You need your wingman. Yeah, that's the only thing rationale. No, they're I'm pretty sure that was because they were on patrol.
Yeah.
For what reason? Who knows? But yeah, and yeah, there's just. What did you think of Natalie's actual escape? Her constantly saying, "I got this far without Cyrus's help,"
Yeah.
trying to justify her mind.
She didn't get very far.
And then she
Runs through the woods. Gets on a path. Dodges behind. I love she jumped on the woodpile and scrambled over it to be on the other side of the woodpile. And luckily, the drag pens were far enough away that they didn't see her jump on the woodpile.
The idea, I guess, the idea was,
There was a lot of description of what people were doing for no reason.
well, not necessarily. There's unnecessary description, yes, obviously.
And then she walked 12 feet to her left, squatted down, and poked around the corner. You don't need to tell her she walked she turned the other direction.
The idea.
She waited 30 minutes after they walked past.
I know that was the thing. Like, why 30 minutes?
She
why
just sat there.
Why 10 minutes reaching for the key? Like, what was I thinking? I was kind of at like time. It took a while, but like,
They're on patrol. Of course, they're gonna come back.
but the idea was that she climbs over the trees instead of going to the side
Yep.
because it was a more direct route, in a sense. For some
Yeah,
reason,
but it goes from
I know.
a group of fallen trees to a wood pile, back to a bunch of fallen trees.
It was always a fallen trees, but I was looking for a different way to describe it, and I decided woodpile was the best way.
But a wood pile
I
is
know,
a
are two
completely different thing.
I know. For some reason, I probably thought that was a better way. I don't know. And then decides instead of when she was waiting 30 minutes, going, but the back behind the trees and using that.
Yeah. No.
No, I'm gonna wait here. Oh wait, what if they come back that way
Oh crap.
and see me?
You didn't think about that already?
I know. I think this. I didn't understand timing, and I think I was trying to get this possession a lot. It feels like a lot of time, but not an actual lot of time passed.
Right.
But I made it so a lot of time passed.
A
of her
lot
just
more
waiting.
time than necessary.
Yes.
Because 5 minutes lasts way longer than people expect it to.
Yes.
It's also way shorter than people feel. So
Yes. But yeah, it was like that was the going in, and then she manages to get away by rolling down a hill.
Yep.
Why didn't the dragman go after her?
I don't know. The chapter ended. That's why he didn't go after her.
Yeah, because that's what the chapter ends.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Duh.
And wait until we see how the next chapter opens up. Why? We'll see. You'll have to wait for that chapter. Anything you want to add to this chapter, Adam?
No. Natalie is the most perfect 14-year-old character that has ever existed. She has too much sass.
You know why?
It doesn't know what she's doing half the time.
You know why she's the perfect?
Why?
Because she's the main character.
I thought that was Sage.
That's Skylar.
That's Skylar Grant.
Skylar's the main character. No matter what story, he's the main character. You know he's not in that book.
Exactly.
But yeah, Sage was supposed to be the main character, but at this point, I didn't know what I was doing with that. So Natalie's now the main character.
Jeez.
Okay, up to this point in the story, how do you think the build towards what would happen in this chapter?
Not bad. It's a filler episode, bro.
Kind of.
Like, it's just like, hey, Cyrus showed up.
Here's basically, it feels like we end the chapter before the chapter should have way too soon.
Yeah. Like, this should be a chapter break.
No, this should be a scene break.
And then
something else.
we get something else.
That is the purpose and flesh this thing. Because progress was made for Natalie, And we
I
get
mean, this
the
also
point.
can be the moment
But
that you
again, though, what
jump-
the fuck, Almighty?
you jump over to, Monono and
Still
Troll,
relaxing and nothing else
and they get
progressed.
told that Natalie has escaped.
Oh, no. They don't even know. Because they're not paying attention.
No. Your bad guys could not be that bad.
Yes. That's how bad they are.
They're so bad at being bad guys.
Yep. But, I mean, yeah, this is like there should be more going on. And the next chapter, how the next chapter starts, is not how to continue it.
Great.
It's a way to end. This is a great way to end a chapter if more happened in it. And the next chapter, there should be something in between before there, but apparently I moved it and decided not to.
Okay.
Or I never did. I can't remember. So you'll have to wait until that chapter to figure out why we're doing this.
All right.
But if you got nothing else, we'll wrap up this podcast episode here. What did you think of this chapter? Do you agree it's kind of a half? There should be more happening, or is it just? Let us know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Since you made it this far, I'm assuming you enjoyed it, so why not sacrifice that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got running content on this channel, which will be on the screen now. Also, if you're in for some gameplay, bad gameplay, go check out Adam's channel, ZOP Gaming. There's a link on the screen as well to that. Other than that, whatever you pick, we'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. My bad. Listening. Bye.